I never imagined the people I called family would walk away when my life hung by a thread. But that night, everything I believed about love and loyalty shattered into pieces. My name is Elena. Family. I was the quiet one, the reliable daughter who never complained, who always put everyone else first. That's why when the pain hit me like a freight train 2 months ago, I told myself it was nothing, just nerves before my final exams. But by midnight, the agony was unbearable. Mom drove me to the emergency room while Dad stayed home with Liam. The doctors took one look and rushed me into surgery acute appendicitis that had already ruptured. I woke up hours later in a dim recovery room, groggy, scared, and desperate. For my parents' faces, they did come. Mom's eyes were red. Dad kept checking his watch. I reached for their hands, whispering. I was so scared. He stepped outside, came back looking torn, and said the words that still echo in my nightmares. Elena, your brother, has a game. The scouts are there. We have to go just for a couple of hours. You'll be fine here, right? The nurses will take care of you. Mom kissed my forehead quickly. I nodded. Too weak to argue, watching their backs disappear through the door. The room felt colder instantly. I told myself they'd return soon. I watched the clock. 1 hour, 2, 3. The pain meds wore off, and the emptiness in my chest hurt worse than the incision. No calls, no texts. A small voice inside me whispered, something is very wrong. I didn't know that night would be the beginning of my awakening, and the start of a revenge no one saw coming. Asterisk hours turned into the longest night of my life. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead while I lay there alone, staring at the empty chair where my parents should have been. Every beep of the monitor felt like a reminder, you are not the priority. Around 2 a.m., a kind nurse came in, saw the tears I couldn't hide, and asked if I needed anything. I whispered, my parents. They said they'd come back. She gave me the saddest smile and checked my chart. Tomorrow, not tonight. Not when I was still half-drugged and terrified. That's when the memories started flooding in. The time Liam's soccer tournament clashed with my piano recital. Mom and Dad chose him. The family vacation they canceled because Liam needs new cleats for the championship. I had always told myself it was fine. He was the baby. I was strong. But lying in that hospital bed, abandoned on the worst night of my life, I finally saw the truth. I had been invisible to them for a very long time. The betrayal cut deeper than the surgery. I felt so small, my own parents chose a Friday night soccer game over their daughter recovering from emergency surgery. The pain in my body was nothing compared to the ache in my heart, but somewhere between 4 a.m. and sunrise, something shifted. The tears stopped. A quiet fire started burning inside me. I wasn't going to be the forgotten daughter anymore. I wasn't going to keep smiling and pretending it didn't hurt. For the first time, I allowed myself to feel angry, and that anger felt powerful. It felt like strength. By the time the morning nurse brought breakfast, I had already decided this would be the last time they broke me. I would heal not just my body, but every part of me they had ignored. And when I was ready, I would make sure they felt exactly what I felt that night, completely and utterly alone. Asterisk, I was discharged the next afternoon. Mom and Dad finally showed up, looking exhausted from the long night at the game. They hugged me like nothing had happened. Liam bounced and talking nonstop about the scouts who watched him. I smiled the way I always had, soft, understanding, invisible. But inside, I was already planning. Over the next 6 weeks, I recovered quietly. I didn't argue. I didn't cry in front of them. Instead, I poured every ounce of energy into myself. I studied harder than ever, applied for every scholarship I could find, and started a secret video diary on my phone. Night after night, I recorded the truth, the hospital abandonment, The years of being second place, the way their love had always come with conditions. I didn't post anything yet. I waited. Then came the perfect moment. Game of his life. The whole community was buzzing. Mom and Dad invited half the neighborhood to their victory party afterward. They asked me to help set up, to smile for photos, to be the supportive sister one more time. I said yes. I connected my phone to the big screen they'd rented for highlights. Instead of game clips, my hospital videos started playing. My pale face, the empty chair, my raw confession. They left me after surgery because my brother had a game. Gasps rippled through the room. Phones came out. The video I had quietly uploaded to a private link earlier went live on my new anonymous account. Within minutes, it exploded. Thousands of views. Shares from strangers who had felt the same pain. Parents like this don't deserve their children. Mom's face went white. Dad tried to stop the video, but it was too late. Liam stood frozen while scouts who had been talking to him suddenly checked their phones. The party ended in stunned silence. The next weeks were hard, but they were mine. My parents called, cried, begged for forgiveness. Liam texted apologies. He clearly didn't understand. I moved out 2 months later with a full scholarship to the college of my dreams and started building a life surrounded by people who actually show up. The video is still out there. Millions have seen it now. Of Liam's teams, and for the first time they tasted what it feels like to be forgotten. Today, when I look in the mirror, I don't see the invisible girl anymore. I see someone who chose herself. And that's the sweetest revenge of all. If there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. Real family doesn't leave you alone in your darkest hour. Blood means nothing if love isn't shown. Protect your heart. Heal on your own terms, and never be afraid to walk away from people who only love you when it's convenient. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is choose yourself. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever been the forgotten one, know you're not alone, and your comeback will be beautiful.